paradigm and perspective, the paradigm or sustainable tourism paradigm is inherently complex but also somewhat abstract. Therefore, it is crucial for us to operationalize its principle to ensure that effective implementation. So the foundational framework supporting this approach, which I'm going to propose in this presentation, have been developed through extensive engagement in the advocacy and destination management and establishing tourism villages. Today, I would like to propose 5 frameworks in understanding the sustainable tourism paradigm. The first one, environmental management framework. Second one is disaster mitigation framework. The third one is socio-cultural engagement and community participation framework. The fourth one is sustainable financing framework, and the last one is collaboration among stakeholders framework. Let me begin with the first framework in my next slide. The environmental management framework is founded on the principle that tourism development should not compromise environmental quality. On the contrary, tourism initiatives should actively contribute to preservation and also conservation effort. The framework I'm going to propose is structured around the 5 critical stages, namely planning, utilization, control, conservation, and supervision stage. Because I believe that effective environmental management must commence with a well-defined planning process, serving as the foundation for all subsequent stages. Let me begin with the planning stage. In the planning stage, management of tourism destinations should be based on planning. So everything should be based on planning. The planning includes, for instance, the medium-term regional development plan, we call it RPJMD, tourism master plan, tourism status and bylaws or ADART, conservation and biodiversity program, carrying capacity studies, visitor management and environmental impact assessment, and regional regulation for environmental preservation. The utilization stage is or underlines that all the practice of tourism in destination should be based on ecological friendly. This includes eco-friendly tourism attraction, sustainable amenities, sustainable transportation option, water and energy conservation or renewable sources, eco-friendly tourism activities, waste disposal and segregation facilities between organic and non-organic, recycling program and waste bank, and environmental interpretation signage. For the control stage, implementation of 7 phases of tourism, we call it Sabta Pesona, and tourism awareness and sadar wisata should be encouraged. The application of visitor management and visitor flow, establishment and enforcement of carrying capacity and protection of endemic wildlife and plants. For the conservation, this includes environment, cleanliness, community environmental service activities, campaigns for the Sabta Pesona and Sadar Wisata, wildlife conservation and maintenance of natural and cultural assets. And the last stage, the supervision. In the supervision, it oversight the implementation of the previous stages, planning, utilization, control, and conservation. It is also monitored the water, air, soil quality, as well as the condition of flora and fauna, attraction and amenities. And the last one is enforcement of sanction for environmental preservation regulation. Next, the second framework, I'll make it very brief. The framework, disaster mitigation framework, is based on the fact that most tourism destinations are located in vulnerable environmental areas where disasters can happen at any time. In this framework includes both natural and non-natural disaster mitigation. And this framework is structured around 2 primary phases: pre-disaster mitigation and post-disaster recovery. The pre-disaster mitigation includes disaster risk identification, both natural and non-natural, disaster prone map, early warning system, and disaster response SOP. And also, this is followed by how to build the awareness of the people through socialization and simulation. While the disaster response planning, including victim evacuation, damage inventory, public facilities, infrastructure, and other facilities, and rehabilitation or reconstruction. And with regard to the rehabilitation and reconstructions, it depends on the status of the disaster, whether this belongs to the national or provincial or district. Then the budget allocated depending on the status of the disaster. And next, the third framework, the socio-cultural management and community participation framework. For me, tourism should aim to maximize positive impact on local communities. To ensure that local population or local communities derive the greatest benefits, we have to effectively manage tourism destination through certain framework. And this is what I'm going to propose. There are two uh, factors to be considered. The first one is local culture. The second one is community. The local culture includes language, dance, for instance, cultural heritage, customary ceremonies, history, etc. The community includes art community, youth organization, traditional institution and leader village apparatus. There are four activities: protection, utilization, control, and supervision in doing socio-cultural management and community participation. With regard to the protection, the planning-based management is the whole idea of protection. This will include inventory of local culture and cultural heritage, regulation on cultural heritage preservation, intellectual property rights for local cultural and cultural heritage, and also formation of partnership and commitments between the community and other stakeholders. And who will do that? These activities should be done by village government, regional government, Directorate General of Intellectual Property of the Ministry of Law, Cultural Heritage Preservation Agency of the Ministry of Culture. The utilization activities include prioritizing community participation, paying attention to the vulnerability of cultural sites and infrastructure that embodies local wisdom. Local government and tourism actors are the main actors to be involved. The activities of control include implementation of visitors flow, carrying capacity, protection of cultural heritage, and this will be done by village government, local government, and tourism actors. While the supervision will include periodic monitoring of local culture and cultural heritage, strict sanction enforcement, and joint forum among agencies as a supervisory unit. And the village government, local government, and tourism actors, the actors should be enforced. And then the fourth framework, the sustainable financing framework. In the sustainable financing frameworks, one of the most critical aspects, as far as I'm concerned, of tourism management pertains to financial sustainability. And my proposed framework involves optimizing local and internal financial resources while minimizing reliance on other external support. And this framework is intended to serve as a guide for local destination management, enabling the maximization of financial potential and fostering independence from external funding. So we have to, for instance, that local people, they have to run their own business and to get the income. For instance, from the homestay, food and beverage services, souvenir, transportation, etc. And what we have to do is to advocate the people. How do they get the financial from the external, from the central provincial agency, private sector, non-binding sponsorship, or other financial institution? And we have also to do the training, monitoring, mentoring, giving soft loans, business development assistance, infrastructure development, tourism facilities, etc. And all these things, the fourth framework, please. Next slide, please. Yes. Within this framework, the end at the end, this will increase the work phase, the increase of entrepreneurship, the serving, the service quality, and also the promotion. And if we can do this, all these things, then resilient and sustainable business financing will be getting. And the fifth framework is the collaboration among stakeholders. This framework is based on the premise that one of the most critical aspects of tourism destination management is effective collaboration among stakeholders. The next slide, please. This framework examines the challenges faced in fostering such collaboration and explore strategies employed by various actors to address this issue. The framework itself outlines the specific roles and responsibility of stakeholders, emphasizing the importance of achieving consensus and fostering interdependence to ensure sustainable and efficient destination management. There are three institutional challenges in the framework. The first one is how to define the role of stakeholders. The second one is how to define consensus and power distribution. The third one is how to define the involvement. And within these institutional challenges, there are three positions that each actors or each stakeholders should be position themselves. The interdependence position, cooperation, and interaction position. And also, for the collaboration among the stakeholders, we have also to include the private sector, public sector, and third parties in order to manage the networking between these three or external stakeholders. Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, the operationalization, the next slide please, of sustainable tourism, there exists a pressing need to operationalize the sustainable tourism paradigm, ensuring its capability within the Indonesian context. The first framework, the environmental management framework, encompasses the 5 critical stages from planning, utilization, control, conservation, and supervision. The second framework, the disaster management framework, is structured around 2 primary phases: pre-disaster mitigation and post-disaster recovery. And the third framework, the socio-cultural management framework, this framework emphasizes the protection, utilization, control, and supervision of local cultures and community. And the fourth framework, sustainable financing framework, aims to guide local destination management in maximizing financial potential while at the same time simultaneously minimizing dependency on external support. And last, the fifth framework, the stakeholders collaboration framework, delineates the role of various stakeholders, external, internal stakeholders, emphasizing consensus and interdependence among these stakeholders. Ladies and gentlemen, these are all my presentations in a very brief presentation, and I look forward to discussion. Thank you very much.
Give a big applause. Thank you so much, Mr. Muhammad Yusuf, for the wonderful presentation. And now let's move on to our second presenter, Mr. Azizul bin Jamaluddin from Management and Science University, Malaysia. Give applause.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Good afternoon, distinguished guests, international delegates, faculty, most importantly, our future leaders, our Gen Zs, all students of Poltek Pal Lombok. Thank you for having me. I'm Azizul Jamaluddin from Management Science University, Malaysia, and I'm thrilled to be here. And also looking forward for fruitful discussion after this. And I just want to start with a little audience participation. When I say baby boomers, what comes to your mind? Maybe vinyl records or landline phone. And how about millennials? You probably think about, Walkman, Discman, right? And many more. But when I say Generation Z, what do you think of? For me, it's TikTok dance, lightning fast texting, and also fear of leaving their mobile phones at home, and what we politely call as nomophobia. And seriously, if a Gen Z leave their phone behind, they don't just feel anxious, but they will feel like they've forgotten to bring their kidney. And ladies and gentlemen, let me start my presentation. My topic today is Gen Z wants change. And green tourism is next. Right. Before we proceed with the topic, let we understand about the generations. If you can look on my slide, right, on the slide two. And to understand the future of tourism, we first need to understand the tourists of the future. And this talk offers a quick look at the generations that we look. The first one, the silent generation, born 1928 to 1945, and came of age during the aftermath of the Great Depression and World War II. And what's next? Baby boomers were the first generation to have the TV and audio cassette. Generation X, heavily affected by the stock market on 1987 and introduced the VCR and also PC. Generation Y or millennials are digital pioneers who grew up with emails, texting, and also the aftermath of 9/11. But our focus today is on Generation Z, who born in 1997 until 2005. And they are currently aged 13 to 28. And I believe that in front of me are all Generation Z. And you are digital native, integrated, and always connected. And they are now entering their adulthood, either in the higher learning institution, and all of you, and also in the workforce. Okay, next slide. All right, so why are we focusing on Gen Z? Simply put, they are the largest population on the planet. And Gen Z constitutes an incredible 32% of the world population. And in Malaysia alone, they make up 29% of the overall population. And as the tourists of the future, their unique characteristics, consuming, purchasing, and travel behaviors will determine the evolution of global consumer trends, making them a unique generation to study. This is my study, and I've listed out their characteristic and also buying power at the next slide, in which Gen Z possesses 5 to 6 times higher buying power than previous generations. And this buying power is coupled with a distinct set of behaviors. For example, they are technology savvy and ready to accept innovative services. They are digital natives, but also exhibit phenomena like xenophobia, like I said before. And interestingly, they often seek to minimize human interactions, preferring to fulfill service needs without the feeling of embarrassment, which can sometimes manifest as social phobia. And globally, they crave safety and financial security, and having been constantly exposed to war and terrorism via social media. And specifically, Malaysian Gen Z tends to be family-oriented, live primarily in urban areas, and shows a strong interest in political issues. So, next, this is where Gen Z values align with the topic. The data from Malaysia is compelling. A significant 69% of Gen Z are willing to pay extra for products or services that are committed to sustainable practices. Here, right? The tumbler, right? The recycled bottle. I think all of you bring in your class and whatnot, right? And this generation will make up majority of the workforce by 2030. And is therefore crucial to realizing sustainable development goals. All right. Their willingness to pay a premium for sustainability is a powerful market signal. This Gen Z doesn't just want change, they are willing to invest in. Okay, now, to understand what green tourism is all about, right? Green tourism is fine. It's a form of tourism that requires all participants to respect nature and conserve the environment. I think all of you know about this. But a robust framework for understanding this concept is the TBL, the triple bottom line, which focuses people, planet, and also profit. And this is a standard that we must meet here. Right, next slide. So now, in my study, I studied about the intrinsic motivation for green tourism. What motivates Gen Z to embrace green tourism? Their motivation is often driven by their personal perception of sustainability and also green tourism and their sense of self-efficacy. So what is self-efficacy? Self-efficacy, the belief in one's own ability to succeed in specific situations. And next slide, this is the most influential factor. This leads us to single most influential factor in promoting green tourism or sustainable self-efficacy. To cultivate this, we need a collective effort from education and awareness must be instilled from the young age. Higher learning institutions have a responsibility to launch campaigns, raise awareness, and the government and policymakers must ensure a supportive environment that encourages the feel-good factor of responsible action. Okay, next. I want to bring you what happens in Malaysia. What's new for Malaysians now? Right. And we can see the government policies are already moving into this direction. For example, last week, our Prime Minister announced that the subsidy of petrol is going down, right? And the Malaysian government under Budi Madani RON 95 petrol subsidy program is a current initiative. And this program provides 300 liters of subsidized fuel monthly for eligible Malaysians. So before this, we have to pay 205 cents RM, approximately like 7,000 plus rupiah for 1 liter, and now one ringgit and 99 cents per liter. But there's a cash. It's only 300 liters, right? So 300 liters, I think, is enough for Malaysians to travel or to commute from their house to their workplace, right? And this intention is to provide financial relief to the citizens of Malaysians. So, from this policy, what will happen? Next slide. This is the encouragement for EV cars. And however, as a step towards a greener future, we must look beyond fossil fuels to truly support green tourism and to shift Gen Z desires. We need more encouragement for EVs and policies that incentivize the adoption of EVs and sustainable transport, essential to build the green infrastructure that Gen Z will demand. In closing, Gen Z is not just a new market, they are catalysts for change. And they have the numbers, the buying power, the ethical commitment to drive the future of travel towards green tourism. The question now is not if green tourism is next, but whether are we ready to meet the demands of this generation and collaboratively build a sustainable future. I think that's all from me. Thank you so much for having me, and I'm welcome for any question from our students and also international delegates. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you to Mr. Azizul bin Jamaluddin from Management and Science University, Malaysia. Now, before we continue to our next presenter, I would like to say hi to our online audience from the Zoom and YouTube streaming platform. Make sure you are prepared your question and send it in the comment box. And for the audience on site as well, please prepare your question. After this session, we will have a discussion and question and answer session. Now, let's move on to our next speakers. Please welcome and give applause for Miss Anukrati Sharma from University of Kota, India.
Hello everyone, am I audible? Audible.
Is Miss Anukrati Sharma's online? The voice is cutting out. So we are trying to reach her again and make sure she is joining us. Okay. So we have a little technical issue from the speaker. So we hope that she can join us and have a smooth connection. Okay. To Ms. Anukrati Sharma, let us share the material, share screen.
Am I audible?
Okay. All right.
Oh, well, this is
Your voice is cutting out. Can you use the device mic instead of earphone? All right, we will wait for her to join us again. All right. Now we have Miss Anukrati Sharma's online. So Miss Sharma, uh, can you check your voice again? Your
okay.
to
Can
make
you
sure
hear
your
me?
connection is fine.
Still not coming? Is it coming now?
Yeah, we can hear your voice now.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry for this technical issue. A very good morning to everyone. Namaskar from India. I doubted I would like to say thanks to the international seminar organizers, especially Professor Emi Rosa and her team, for inviting me as one of our speakers for the important international seminar, which is protecting the world's culture and the natural heritage. And today's topic, which I have selected, is unlocking the less and unexplored tourist products. So I would like to shift to my slides gradually. Tourism product. When we are talking about tourism product, we have to include the tangible and intangible both sort of products, whether they are natural, whether they are cultural, or whether they are man-made, or they are. It can be any attraction, it can be any amenity, it can be any service, it can be any sort of recreation. So basically, whenever we are talking about tourism product, it is a bundle or a bunch, you can say, of tangible and intangible products of, of a particular destination. And as I have been visiting already, look, so I know it is a very rich, naturally rich, and culturally also it's a very rich place. So you people are already enjoying a lot of tangible and intangible assets in terms of tourism products, if I talk. And a few things which I would like to highlight here, they are quite common in India and it as well as global. Two things like the untapped things which I can see, in my opinion, is like one of them is like film tourism. And you can see the pictures. Like film tourism is something which is little untapped, untouched area still in Asia. I mean, like if I talk about India, we are already in the process. We are already film tourism. There are the sites of Kashmir, there are sites of Maharashtra, Goa, Rajasthan, and many other states where the Bollywood is coming and they are doing their shooting of the movies, of the TV serials, of their music albums as well. So here I would like to suggest for Lombok also we can think about something like film tourism because again you people are rich in a lot of things. So yes, film tourism can be a one area on which we can work upon. The other thing is homestays, which I think in Lombok also, because we have visited some places in Lombok, we have already homestays. In India also, we do have homestays. After COVID, homestays are the better options than the five-star or the seven-star or the big properties of hotels. Because they are in comparison more economical and more, our tourists feel more authentic when they're staying in a homestay. So, and plus it gives the push and a support to the local community, which should be the objective of tourism industry. It's just not like that the wealthy person, the rich person is getting more rich and the poor is getting more poor. Here we want to support the local community, the local persons. We want them to be a stakeholder in the tourism industry. That's why I really urge from this important juncture that we have to push the homestays more than the hotel properties, and especially the homestays which are owned and run by the females. That will be more beneficial for the economic development and to understand the culture and authenticity of that destination also. Then eco-friendly, again it is connected with homestays only. You can start some eco-friendly launch also for the tourists. Community tourism-based projects, which are again very much important. These sort of things are required. Even if we can talk about and we will talk about few things which like the handicraft and all. This is more pushed by the local community. So I think local community, we really need to do something for the local community rather than doing it for the wealthy rich carriers. Then dark tourism, I really want to highlight this point. Dark tourism is a term where we are talking about the tourist sites or the places where related with grief, with haunted places, paranormal activities, or the war sites, some, or maybe the cemeteries, the graveyards, these sort of things which carries the sorrow or the memories of our ancestors, or the haunted places or the paranormal places. So far in India, we do have a lot of dark tourism sites, but unfortunately, we don't have that level of promotion. And dark tourism is something which is very much, in the trend, especially in abroad. Even these days, I've heard about that many tourists from many other countries, they want to visit Ukraine and they want to see a destruction which happened because of this war. So this war is again, it brings the grief. So we take it as a dark tourism. So yes, dark tourism is a very untouched and untamed, or you can say in other words, a less explored area where we can work upon. Because in every destination, somehow there must be some place where the beach is associated, or maybe some paranormal activities that are happening over there. Like one example I'm giving here of Uttarakhand, it is called a skeleton lake because no one is able to find out till date from where the skeletons are coming out from this lake. So that is its name as a skeleton lake, and the tourists were coming to visit. There are the pictures of a Bhangar fort. It is a fort actually, and destroyed by some curse. It is a haunted place. And there is a Kuldara village in Rajasthan. It is again a haunted place. And the government is developing these projects as a dark tourism sites. So I am in the opinion that we need to bring out some newness. Repetitive things will not attract the tourists anymore. We really need to give them some new tourist products. Then we can talk about the experiential tourism because it is very much in demand. And here we can talk about agro-tourism, or rural tourism as well. So what we can do here, we can invite the travelers, the visitors, the tourists, and we can ask them to experience the authentic village life. And we have to give them the participation also in the activities which are related with the farm, like learning some local craft or learning the cooking or how to make a traditional meal on a mud, or you can say on a clay pot, something like that, how to use the traditional utensils, these sort of things we can make them learn. That's why we take this tourism, rural tourism, under the head of experiential tourism. Then wellness and yoga treatments. Again, because every time going for the cosmetics, for the surgeries, it is not possible because of n number of reasons. Sometimes the pocket of the tourist is that doesn't allow. Sometimes we do have a stress in our mind because we are going for a surgery or something like that. But we all want solutions. So yes, it can be a solution to give by the yoga, by the wellness, by Ayurveda, by the traditional massages and all. And because females can get good job in the wellness centers in teaching to be a yoga trainer also. So yes, it will boost up the moral of the females also to be a part of the tourism industry. Then one more thing, we can talk about the food or culinary, or you can say gastronomic tourism. It is a very big hit in India. We have a lot of festivals. We have food walk tours, especially food walk tours. Then we do have the bloggers are there who are training us. We have the workshop on the food tourism and all. And you can see in the slide that the compound annual growth rate from 2025 to 2035, it is expected to jump very high for food tourism in India. So I want to recommend really that for lower cost, we can adopt some strategies like food tourism, because I really enjoyed the food over there in your institute. So I'm aware that the dishes are really incredible. The quality of foods is really good in Lombok. So yes, something which is related to food tourism, food walks, food festivals. This is what the students can plan especially, and they can take. You can develop some street exclusively just for the food tourism, for the food street tourism. So street food also can be in big demand, other than the traditional food. Then we can develop some adventure and tourism sites. Like here, I would like to talk about the accessible tourism. Adventure tourism is also can be divided in two parts. One is soft adventure, one is hard adventure. So when we are talking about hard adventure, you can include the youngsters, the teenage and the young people, or the middle-aged people. They can be a part of the hard adventure activities, parasailing, But at the other side, we can talk about a soft adventure also, which is for the baby boomers, or you can say the teenagers, or for the older age persons who are like above 50s, above 60s even. Because every person have that zeal to do something. We never want to feel old, right? But what happened in our age, we people are not offering such things to the old age people. So here I want to suggest the students who wants to make their career in tourism industry, they can come up with a startup which is exclusively for the old age tourists, and they can run some soft adventure activities for them, like beach visiting and a horse riding over there or something like that. So easy things we can do. But yes, we need to put adventure tourism in both ways, soft as well as hard. And we, at the same time, we need to focus on accessible tourism also. That your destination should be accessible to everyone. Hardly matters if I have a physical, if I'm a differently able person, or maybe I got an accident now. Now I'm not able to walk, but I want to see the destination. So we have to develop those facilities for such tourists also, because it will give you more profit. Like for an example, if a person who cannot see but feel, so he or she need one more person to support to visit that place. It will automatically increase the revenue, because ultimately why we are here, because tourism is a service industry, but we really want to increase the revenues as well of that destination of a particular country, right? So when where we are developing the solo traveler, solo tourism, at the same time, I'm recommending we have to develop the accessible tourism, because it brings more tourists to our country. So that's one thing. Trekkings and the wildlife safaris also, we can develop. So these are a few ideas which I would like to share. And basically, when we are talking about developing a tourist destination, it all depends on the vision. What's your vision? What is the vision of your government? What is the vision of the tourism academicians, the researchers, and what is the vision of the youngsters? It all depends on your vision, that what vision you are carrying in your mind, and what sort of image you really want to carry forward of your particular country, and how you want others to see your country. If I ask a question here, that how many countries are providing the accessible tourism or the exclusive tourism for the old age persons. So you can name it on tips. So we have a number of opportunities, like maybe our country is the safest country for the tourist. quite possible we can make the country the most accessible country for everyone, whosoever, a person who is with disability or a person who is totally fit, anyone can visit us. A pregnant lady can also visit us. A young lady can also visit us, you know. So we need to remove these hindrances. But again, it all depends on the stakeholders of tourism and the hospitality industry, and what their vision, what their mind, what their mindset is saying, where they want to take the destination, how they want to make the branding, how they want to make the marketing of the particular tourist place. So students, because you are listening to me very carefully, I'm so much thankful to everyone because you are giving your important time for listening me. It is all in your hands and what you exactly want to do in this particular industry, because you are the youngsters and this industry is certainly in your hands. So when you are making a vision board for your country, in aspect of tourism and hospitality, try to pen down each and everything, the pros and the cons, advantages and disadvantages, and then plan some good startup, some business, or maybe even if you're going in a job, that time also think about it, what contribution you are going to give to explore the unexplored and untapped tourism products of your country. Okay? And I just want to end my slides by saying one saying that whenever you all know about the space, think outside the box. Whenever we talk about creativity, innovations, everyone used to say think outside the box. But my dear students, I would like to say here that when you are thinking about tourism industry, when you are thinking about your career in tourism industry, think like that there is no box. Because when you are talking about a box, there is certainly a periphery, there are some limitations, there are some boundaries of a box as well. So don't suppress your vision when you are talking about the tourism industry for your country. Think as big as you can think and do as big as you can do. Contribute as much as you can contribute. Think critically, but creativity, innovation, and uniqueness should be the part of your thinking. Thank you so much for having me here. I would like to say thanks once again to the entire team of the Lombok Institute for having me here and giving me this important platform. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Sharma. Please give applause for Ms. Anukrati Sharma. To be honest, all right. To be honest, I would like to say it is very convenient for us to have abroad speakers because we can have a new paradigm, new perspective from them, and new experiences. All right. Now, last but not least, our fourth speaker from Lombok Tourism Polytechnic. Please give applause and warm welcome for Mr. Ahlan Palevi Royano.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, I'm on screen right now, yeah. Thank you so much, Pak Satria. Such an honor to be a part of this international seminar. And also Pak Dr. Yusuf, Prof. Anukrati from India, and Dr. Azizul, yeah, from USM, Malaysia. Thank you so much for sharing insightful information about how can we actually protect our or preserve our cultural and natural heritage. So in this session, I would like to share my perspective or my presentations about what youth or what students actually can do to preserve our cultural or natural heritage. So there are so many ways that we can do through teaching activities in our university or college or in your classroom with your teachers. And what I did with my partners, with my colleagues in Poltek Parlombok regarding this theme, yeah, regarding this, how can we preserve our tourist attractions, particularly in Lombok. So maybe we can, next to the slide. So in this session, I would like to maybe remind you again that you are the youth, we are the youth, that we have a power to protect our culture and nature. And I only highlight two things in my presentations. The first one is the role of the youth as the protectors of cultural and natural heritage. And the second one is I would like to share what practical examples that we did here in Poltek Parlombok. Next. So here is the youth. So many countries or organizations define the age of the youth, but mostly according to United Nations, the youth age between 15 to 27 years old. But according to our law in Indonesia, youth defined as the person who age from 16 to 30 years old. And in the next 5 years, or in 2030, projected that the youth will be reached up to 8.5 billion. So there's so many youth, yeah, than the other generations. And for Indonesia itself, last year in 2024, we have 64 million youth out of 281 million total population of Indonesians. But if we combine from, as Dr. Azizul defined the generations cohort, for Indonesian, if we combine millennials, zillennials, generation alpha and generation beta, more than 50% of Indonesian populations. So you are the future of Indonesia that will manage and that will protect our cultural and natural heritage. Next, please. So as a future generations, what we are going to do? What is our role? What is your role? So, of course, you will inherit, yeah? You will be the next generations and you will define or you will decide what will you do today, and it will bring an impact to the future generations. And we cannot deny that we also bearing the greatest impact of today's global crisis. We have COVID-19, we have so many how to say, problems around the world that you can see through your screen, through your social media, and that also bring an impact that maybe we can, how to say, we can make a reflections that what happened to the world and what we can do to protect, in this case, to protect our culture and natural heritage. And also I would like to emphasize about the green and digital transformations, because I believe that the youth now, we are really, how to say, affected by the development of technology like AI and so on. And regarding sustainable tourism, there are so many labeling. When you heard about green, there are green hotels, right? Green activities and so many green products and so on. But as youth, we also, you have to know also about green skills. So there are so many green skills that you have to know, and maybe we need to acquire, which able to help us to, how to say, minimize the negative impact when we do our job. So that's we call green skills. So maybe we will talk about it in the other session, yeah, in the other events. So next, please. Okay. So in this session, I would like to share about what the youth can do actually in terms of preserving our culture and natural heritage. So maybe we can do like a small things, simple but not ordinary. So from like not throwing your garbage everywhere, throwing to the trash bin or trash can, it also helps to preserve our environment, right? Because if you visit several or many tourist attractions and you bring, how to say, your trash or garbage and you throw just anywhere, so it means that you also help to destroy the attractions. So, are you familiar with this picture? Yes? What is that? Sustainable Tourism Development Goals, right? So I believe that in classroom, you discuss with your lecturers or maybe with your partners about SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. There are 17 goals that every nation in United Nations agreed that we have to do this kind of activities that we can preserve our future. In terms of tourism, we also participated in the 17 goals, how we can do our tourism activities, tourism businesses, that we try to minimize the negative impacts and try to maximize the positive impacts. And maybe from the previous presenters also saw that the triple bottom line consists of people, planet, and profit. So despite the three pillars or three things of sustainable tourism, actually the governance also essential to manage the tourism, because without governance like governments or the management how to run the impact of the tourism in terms of people, profit, and planet, then it cannot be sustainable. And you can see that here our students in Poltek Parlombok, in this case, I took Tour and Travel Business Department, the student from Tour and Travel Business Department. So they're also doing like project-based learning. So during this activity, we gave them a project that they can do with the community in a certain tourist attractions. And they can discuss a certain project or a certain product that they can develop together. So not only for the local community, but they can also collaborate with the local government. And during these activities, we encourage the students to learn and analyze sustainability in terms of tourism activities. Because Poltek Parlombok, we knew that we are tourism business schools. So after we graduated, perhaps that you will work or develop your own tourism businesses. And when you're doing your activities or your job in the tourism industry, we hope that you're not only benefiting in terms of economy, but you also provide or maximizing the impact in terms of community or social and environment, like for the hotels. So in the hotel industry, they also provide so many ways, but how can you manage the waste? For the Tour and Travel Business Department, you bring so many tourists to visit the tourist attractions, but how can you preserve the culture and so on? So here is the things that maybe you can try to familiarize yourself during your learning. What is the SDGs, or what is the triple bottom line, or sustainable tourism, or what is the STC? Even the STC also provide so many criteria for tourism industry, like accommodation, to travel, and the government, even the MICE industry. So they provide several indicators to make sure that you run your businesses that not really, how to say, damaging, bring more good than harm, yeah? We can say that. Next. So another thing that you can do as a youth, I believe that in the college or in the university, maybe you do a field trip project. So in my case, in Tour and Travel Business Department, during the field trip project, we sometimes give students, how to say, observation checklists and so on, but they also create a project that that the project developed from their assessments on environment, social, cultural, and economic aspects. So in this, during this field trip, we encourage the students, they can think that, okay, I enjoy my field trip, but what can I do after my field trip? So maybe after I graduated as travel operators or accommodation operators, what can I do to help or to preserve the, how to say, the environment or the tourist attractions? So these kind of activities that we can do in Tour and Travel Business Department to empower the students or the youth that we believe as a future generations that can help us to protect our natural and cultural heritage. Next slide, please. So this is one of projects that we gave the students last year. They made 360 video projects, and maybe you saw the MC, Angel, one of the students who developed the project. Thank you, Angel. So in Lombok, there are so many tourist attractions, right? Have you heard about Kota Tua Ampenan? So what do you think about Kota Tua Ampenan? Beautiful. What's the most beautiful about Kota Tua Ampenan? But maybe not all of us have visited the Kota Tua Ampenan. But what we do that, we gave a project to the students and they visit the tourist attractions, the Kota Tua or Pura Lingsar. We also have a project in Pura Lingsar. They try to make a project, this kind of video project, but they also try to analyze in terms of sustainable tourism aspects. So in these attractions, what benefit actually they are generating in terms of economy or profit, or in terms of social economy, people and the environment. So we also do, through this project, we try to educate visitors and promote responsible tourism, so that the, how to say, the students starting from the schools or from the college, they are trying to create a certain project that also help us to promote sustainable or responsible tourism. Next. Okay, so that's the end, but maybe we can go back from the previous slide. So I hope you can open the link SID/Lombok360, and maybe you can scan the barcode to see what kind of activities our students do. Actually, this is the first project that we hope we can continue in the next semester, because we would like to, we want to try like to make a, how to say, the list, yeah, the list of the tourist attractions, particularly in terms of cultural and natural heritage here in Lombok. Next slide, please. So here's the conclusions of my presentations. So I believe that the youth or the students, you are already taking actions in protecting cultural and natural heritage. In the digitalization era, you are really easy to access so many kind of apps or digital technologies, and actually you can become an ambassador, or you can promoting sustainable tourism practices, and like informing your followers or your colleagues or your friends that they're not, how to say, throwing garbage or how to say, bad mouthing in the tourist attractions. I think it's several activities that we can do to preserve, preserve or protect our natural or cultural heritage. And I believe empowering the youth through the learning process, like the project-based learning or field trips, also helps to bring benefits to the community, because these initiatives can bring new ideas, technology, and sustainable practices to tourism and heritage protections. And as a lecturer and as a teacher, and all the teachers around the world, or any trainers, I believe that through their activities in terms of sustainable tourism activities, it can strengthen their role in protecting cultural and natural heritage. And the last one is the responsibility. So as we discussed earlier with the previous presenters, we can see that to preserve our cultural or natural heritage is not an easy job. So it needs shared responsibility. So we cannot work alone. We need to work with other people. We need to work together. So we are as students, maybe we can do our part, but the other part, the other part like the government and also other communities and other tourism sectors like tourism businesses also need to work together to preserve our natural and cultural heritage. And I believe that during the learning process that the students do here in Lombok, now you are, how to say, it's like a small exercise to discuss with the local communities, to discuss with the local authorities, and to discuss with tourism businesses on how they can manage or how to develop a project that able to protect or preserve our cultural and natural heritage. So thank you so much. I think that's all from my presentations. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ahlan Falovi Royana, for the wonderful presentation. And allow me now to summarize the whole materials from the four speakers. Developing sustainable tourism requires comprehensive management frameworks to create resilient destination. This effort can be enhanced by unlocking less explored tourist products such as dark tourism and agri-tourism to diversify visitors' experiences. The demand for this sustainable shift is strongly driven by Gen Z, a key feature demographic willing to pay more for green and sustainable practices. Therefore, it is crucial to empower youth as active protectors of cultural and natural heritage through practical project-based learning to ensure the long-term successful of this initiative. And regarding what Pak Ahlan or Mr. Ahlan have said about no littering, we can actually start from ourselves, start from small thing, and start from now. All right, now we have come to the question and answer sessions. And for the first Q&A session, I would like to invite the on-site audience to propose question. Is there anybody here in this room want to ask question? Please raise your hands. All right, we have Tiara. Can the committee please help me with the mic? Okay, for the questioners, please stand up, mention your name, and please mention who is the question for, and mention the questions. Okay, Tiara.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good
My name
afternoon.
is Baik Tiara. I'm a culinary arts student. So the question is for Mr. Azizul bin Jamaluddin. So the question is, many Gen Z say they care about sustainability, but in practice, they are still prefer cheaper and more convenient options. So how can tourism industry bridge this gap between the awareness and the action?
All right. Thank you so
Okay.
much for the question.
Mr. Azizul, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, that is a good question. Through my study and through my readings, some Gen Z does not translate their awareness and also their perception towards sustainable and green tourism, towards their behavior. And it is true. It's true because right now the Gen Z, like I say, is the level of searching knowledge, for example, in the higher education, or just starting their work life. So the income would be the number one factor that they cannot translate their awareness, also perception towards their behavior. But we look into the future, in 2030, for example, how old are you? And what income that you can take, right? So now we talk about future, right? So that's why we must think now on how the tourism businesses, how the governments, the policymakers, they have to set the benchmark, the guidelines from now, because the needs and also the desire of Gen Z now have reached to that level. They want green, they want sustainable, but for now, it's very, very difficult to look on changes of behavior. But in the future, inshallah, you yourself will turn to green. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Aziz. So how to fill the gap according to him that the policymaker and the tourism actor must set the benchmark first and then slowly we can fill that gap. I hope that answered the question, Tiara. All right, we move on to the second questioners. All right, in the corner. Yes. Mention your name, your question.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity. Give us ask question. What is biggest challenge for Gen Z?
I'm sorry to interrupt. Please mention your name and who's the question to and your question.
I am Ricky Anggara for Food and Beverage Service Department. And then, what is biggest challenge for Gen Z developing tourism? Okay, thank you very much.
What is the biggest challenge for Gen Z to develop tourism? Who is the question for?
What?
Who is the question for?
For Mr. Aziz.
Oh, Mr. Azizul again.
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Azizul have so many fans here.
Popular.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Right. Thank you, Ricky, for that question. It's very good so far. And what are the biggest challenges of Gen Z in developing the sustainable tourism or green tourism? I think there's a lot of challenges that we look into Gen Z, right? But through my studies, there would be the intrinsic and also extrinsic motivation, right? So, like I presented just now, it's all about intrinsic, inner self, right? But there are also factors that affect their behavior towards green tourism, which is the external or the extrinsic motivation. So this extrinsic motivation, including the family, the peers, right? And also all the friends. And this wants to look good in any media platform. So that's why I say the feel-good factor, this will trigger Gen Z towards more sustainable practice and also towards green tourism, right? So that would be the challenge of Gen Z themselves and also with the tourism businesses on how to translate this behavior into reality. And like your friends asked just now, the challenges of income also being one of the factors on how they can, I call that, to spend their money too, right? For example, like now, if you go to the concerts, right? There are many events, special events. There are more towards that. In Malaysia alone, we have no plastic bags. And this Generation Z has looked into this as very, very important features that they can contribute for. And that will be the challenges of how to translate the Gen Z perception towards tourism, so natural heritage and whatnot, towards the actual behavior. So I think that's all.
Okay, thank you. According from what I catch from Mr. Azizul, that the challenges is the more self-motivation itself. You know, it comes from intrinsic and extrinsic. For example, it influence from the family and friends. So if we have a good family relationship with our family member about how to keep clean and how to keep our environment safe and clean, so I think personally we can also take action to the to that challenge. So the challenge here is the motivation itself. We have to keep it and we have to practice it in the real environment. I hope that's answered the question, Dicky. Thank you. So we go to the third questioners. I would like to choose over here on my left, behind you. Yeah. Please don't forget to mention your name, the question, and who is the question for.
Good afternoon. My name is Muhammad Sirajuddin. I'm from Bumigora University. So my question is, as we know, tourism really contributes to regional economy, starting from introducing various cultures from different parts of Indonesia. For example, in many regions, certain cultural tradition or sacred ritual have become performance for the tourists. So my question is, how can we preserve our cultural wisdom while introducing our culture to the world without losing its true values? Thank you.
How can we preserve our cultural heritage without losing its value? Okay, who's the question for? Anybody here or anybody online? Here, on site. Okay. Mr. Ahlan or Mr. Yusuf, who would like? Okay.
Well, thank you. I'll start answering your question with a good statement from Muslim scholar. Um, Man arafa nafsahu faqad arafta rabbahu. Those who know themselves knows God. So the first thing to do is that we have to understand our potential. For instance, in our community, what is the community potential with regard to the culture? What kind of culture do we have? So we have to, of course, we have to do a kind of mapping of cultural heritage we have, understanding the cultural potential, and then how to then develop the cultural into tourism product. So the first thing is to understand what we have. The second one is, if we are talking about making culture as tourism product, then we have also to look at what should we do. The first one is not only what should we do. The second one, after we know our potential, is we have to know about who will do. Yeah, then we have to do kind of mapping the stakeholders who can do what. Yeah, in a very micro
sempurna
level
malah
way.
minta yang kurang.
In a,
Dulu emitan sambil batis dulu gitu nanti.
okay, for instance, in our community, who are the stakeholders of tourism? For instance, the apparatus of local leaders, or local religious leaders, or etc., youth leaders, etc. So we have to look at who can do what. And then the third one is, as I mentioned in my framework on socio-cultural management and community participation, the principle of this framework is to involve as much as possible community to do our tourism activities. From the protection activities, utilization, control, and supervision. So I think if we can do all this together between the stakeholders in different phases, then I think we can minimize the negative impact of culture becoming, losing their authenticity, and at the same time maximizing the benefit of culture to become the tourism product. I think that's all.
Thank you very much. So first we have to mapping and then identify the potential of our heritage, and then let the stakeholder take action and also combine with community. I hope that's answered the question, Sirojudin. Okay, do we have any question from the live chat? Not yet? Okay, let's move on to the fourth questioners from this room. Okay, I would like to choose the lady over here in the middle. Yeah. Please mention your name, your question, and who's the question to.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Rengganis. I'm from Politeknik Negeri Bali, PSDKU, Lombok Barat. I want to ask you, Dr. Muhammad Yusuf MA, what are the key factors in developing resilience in the sustainable tourist destinations?
Can you please repeat the question?
What are the key factors in developing resilience in the sustainable tourism destinations?
What are the key factors?
Yes, factor. K. In developing resilience in the sustainable tourist destinations.
In the tourism destination.
Destinations.
The key factors.
Yes, the key factors in developing.
In developing.
Developing resilience.
This land.
Resilience.
Resilience.
Yes,
resilience. Okay.
And the sustainable tourist destinations.
Yes, tourism.
I'm sorry, but nervous.
Okay, very good question. What are the factors to develop tourism? We call it community resilience in developing tourism activities. Resilience is the capability and ability of certain community to respond to different case in positive way. So the main idea of resilience is the ability of responding in a good way. Yeah. So I propose actually the 5 frameworks of making tourism resilient. The framework on the I would like to restate my framework. The framework on environmental management framework. Sustainable tourism underlines that tourism should not only decrease the environmental, but also should involve in environmental protection. So how to make the environmental protection successful is it depends on the way we perceive tourism as a key factor to conservation. Tourism should not decrease the environmental, but should protect the environmental. The second framework, the disaster management framework. As I mentioned earlier, that's most of our tourism destinations are located in vulnerable areas where disaster can happen at any time. So then we have also to prepare, not only doing action after the disaster happening, but also to what's it called? Um, to be able to to prepare. So the preparation of disaster should be underlined. The third one is the socio-cultural management. I mentioned already many times that protection, utilization, control, supervision of local cultural and communities is the way we do the socio-cultural management. Sustainable financing, tourism should um, give economic benefit to the people. But the question is then how to make sure, to ensure that tourism can benefit economically. Then this framework can be done in our community. And the second one, the last one is stakeholders collaboration framework. So what I'm going to say is that, of course, this framework yeah, as far as my research is concerned, that when we bring about the sustainable tourism ideas to the grassroots level, to the empirical levels, the paradigm or the concept cannot be implemented directly. Then we need to, to operationalize. Then these frameworks, the 5 frameworks are the way we are trying to operationalize. And at the end, we will have to, I'm quite sure that we will have a resilient community in doing sustainable tourism development. I think that's all.
Okay, if I may restate Mr. Yusuf's answers, there are 5 key factors. The first one is environmental management and disaster management, socio-cultural management, sustainable financing, and stakeholder collaboration. I hope that answered the question. All right, we move on to the next questioner. I think the gentleman in the back with glasses.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Daniel Sofian Jaya. I'm from Hamzanoni University. I have a question. What role do local communities play in protecting cultural and natural heritage? This question for Mr. Ahlan. Thank you very much.
Mr. Ahlan, did you get the question? All right.
Thank you so much. What is your name, Danus? Oh, Sophia. Thank you so much, Sophia, for the questions. So, your question is what role local community in protecting cultural and natural heritage? So, yeah, as Dr. Yusuf mentioned that our community or local community actually have the main role in managing our tourist attractions. And from our previous experiences in doing research in terms of community, we saw that in the local level, there are so many challenges that actually happening when they want to run tourism activities in their village. So the role is actually we have to invite the local community to participate in every steps in developing their tourist attractions. So maybe some people say that if we develop tourist attraction in our village, we are just become the watchers. So, but you do not participate in the development. So, starting from the planning until the evaluating the tourism activity in a certain location or in a certain village, for examples, we have to invite or we have to make sure that the local participants, how to say, the local people participate during the process. So I think uh, the local people have the main role, and their role is in every steps in the development process. And my previous experiences with my students when they do their how to say a training in a certain tourism villages, um, they face uh, some kind of issues. For example, we can see that in the tourism village there are so many organizations or local community, right? From the um, how to say, from the village level, like CADES, and also there are so many youth organizations, or maybe there are so many another institutions that want to help their tourism village to develop a certain products, and they have their own how to say aims in order to build their village, right? But when it comes to tourism, I think that the local people needs to be part uh, in their process. Yeah, I think I hope that's answered your questions. So I believe that the local people have the role in every steps in the developing a tourism villages or a certain tourism products. And as we can see, maybe in Lombok, there are so many cultural or natural heritage, right? And some sites or the attractions have local people who lives in the area. So when we come and we want to develop tourism products, we do not leave them behind, but we have to invite them to participate. Yeah, that's my answer. Maybe, but Yusuf, you can add.
Thank you. Yeah, I do agree that local people should be involved in a way that the tourism development is done. But unfortunately, when we refer local people, we always refer to local elites. So only few people from the locals who are who are willing to join to participate in the development. Only local elites. Not many people, not many local people are willing to join to involve. So ideally, local people are involved from planning, utilization, control, conservation, and also supervision. So it is, I think, a challenge for us when when we want to involve local people. That the first one, we have to involve as many people as possible, and the second one is they have to involve in every stage of the development, from the planning to the supervision. This is a big challenge. So in my practical work with community, it is not easy to do. It's a very big challenge for us. But then we shouldn't give up. Of course, we have to be very optimistic that in um, in many in yeah there are many ways to invite local people to join, to involve, because I have also many success stories in many places that local people can actively join. But in terms of the village, tourism village, desa wisata, the first one we have to create is so-called the local champion. It is important to create local champion, because then local champion is that the local champion will be the um, what you call it, the model, the role model of youth, energetic, ambitious person to develop their own village. And if we have the local champion, then there will be many local people willing to join. So first, then we have to create the local champion, and then afterward, I believe that there are many people join in the development of tourism in a village level. Thank you.
Thank you so much. What a wonderful question and wonderful answers. We have one last question from YouTube live chat from Miss Dewi Utami Pidada. This question is for Mr. Ahlan. She asked, what challenges do young people face in balancing modernization with the responsibility to preserve culture and natural heritage? What challenges do young people face in balancing modernization with the responsibility to preserve culture and natural heritage?
Thank you, Pak Satria, Prof. Yusuf. So the question is, what are the challenges in the modernization area for the youth, yeah, to preserve the culture? So as Dr. Azizul stated regarding the characteristic of each generation, there are so many, how to say, I forgot the terms. So many things that can change our behaviors towards a certain activities. And for the youth, for the millennials, zillennials, there are so many distractions, right? Now there's so many distractions, including social media. So there are so many also terms for the now generations. For example, fear of missing out of something. And so many, how to say, gossiping informations, news that actually can distract youth to do like responsible things, not only to preserve culture, but actually from the daily basis, from your daily activity. If you want to do something, sometimes you just do delay, yeah? How to say? The habit of delaying something, I forgot. Yes, procrastinations, that's right. So the motive, we really need to consider, as Dr. Azizul said, that there are extrinsic and intrinsic motives. So as the youth, actually, you can also learn and you can try to analyze yourself. So actually, what can become, what things that can make me distract for a certain activities. And regarding the questions, the challenges is distractions from my side, because maybe you want to participate in a certain activity or any kind of events that aims to preserve like a cultural or natural heritage. But because of the distractions of the technology, yeah, you just joined with the other fun activities and you forgot about the, you know, the important things to preserve our cultural or natural heritage. So as the youth, start to believe that you are the agent of change, or you are the change makers. So what you do right now, your activities right now, actually, you can try to, how to say, predict what will happen to your future. So from now, maybe you like scrolling or you like littering, yeah? So maybe that will happen in the future for yourself. And of course, will bring harm to the other people, right? If you're littering to the, when you do your activity and littering in a certain restrictions. But yeah, the challenges for us, for the lecturer actually to always remind not only the youth but all people that we are a part of the people in this planet to preserve our cultural and natural heritage. So we have a responsibility to preserve our cultural and natural heritage. So don't be, how to say, individualistic or egoistic, if I can say, but start to think about other people, start to care with other people. That what you do right now uh, maybe can bring an impact to the other people. And when it comes to tourism, start to think about maybe my tourism activities bring more harm than good, bring more damage to the environment, people, or the culture, and so on. So yeah, starting from now, maybe if you forgot, or maybe you do your activities outside of the room, or maybe you do your study, start thinking what positive impact, maybe we can emphasize the positive impact, what positive impact can actually I can do or I can generate when I do my activities, not only for myself, but yeah, I believe you can also try to internalize the value that my activities may also impact other people. So yeah, I think that's all from me. Thank you, Pak Satri.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ahlan, for the answer. And now we finally come to the very end of the session of this occasion. I would like to say thank you very much for our four wonderful speakers, Mr. Yusuf, Mr. Ahlan, Mr. Jamaluddin, and Ms. Sharma. I hope that we can see each other again on a similar occasion next time. And I would like to say thank you very much for our fellow lecturer for who is coming on site and online. And I would like to say also thank you so much for fellow students to come to this occasion on site and online. Give applause for all of us here. Thank you so much. So I would like to say let's stay here for a while, Mr. Yusuf and Mr. Halan. We stay on the stage and the floor, I'll give the floor to MC. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to our moderator, Mr. Satria, for leading the session so smoothly. And now, there will be a souvenir handover from Ms. Amirosa to Mr. Yusuf, to Mr. Ahlan, and Mr. Satria. All right. We would really want to say thank you for all the speakers from today, which is Mr. Muhammad Yusuf, Mr. Azizul bin Jamaluddin, Mr. Ahlan, and also Professor Anukrati Sharma. And a little reminder for everyone here who's joining on site and maybe online too. Don't forget to scan the barcode in front. And I'm pretty sure they already sent you the link in the comment section in YouTube. And don't forget to fill the Google form, because from this barcode you will get the electronic certificate. And also you can reread or relearning all the materials that we have learned from today. We will give you 10 minutes to scan this barcode, or for anyone who's following us through the YouTube live stream, you can press the link that they already sent it to from the comment section. Another information, after you guys already filled the Google form that you guys got it from the barcode, if you already fill it with your email account, the e-certificate will be sent automatically to your Google account. So you better check your email to get the electronic certificate. Thank you. And for anyone who wants to read the material that we have learned today, you can open the website that is already shown in the screen in front. Thank you. Okay. Have you scanned the barcode, everyone? You already checked your email? You already got the e-certificate? Okay, that's very good. Now for the closing. Ladies and gentlemen, as we draw this seminar to a close, allow me to express our deepest gratitude to all speakers, participants, and organizing partners. Your presence and contributions have enriched today's dialogue and reaffirmed our shared dedication to protecting the world's cultural and natural heritage. We hope this seminar has inspired continued collaboration and advocacy within the tourism sector. Thank you once again for joining us. We wish you to continue success in your endeavors. I'm Angelina signing out as your MC, and I wish you to have a pleasant evening. Bye-bye.
Sob, kamu tahu nggak sekolah pariwisata tertua di Indonesia ada di mana? Iya, salah satunya ada di Bandung yang terkenal dengan sebutan NHI. Nama resminya Politeknik Pariwisata atau Poltekpar NHI Bandung. Sekolah pariwisata ini udah ada sejak 1959 dengan nama Sekolah Kejuruan Perhotelan. Setelah beberapa kali berubah nama, tahun 1973 sekolah ini menyandang nama National Hotel Institute atau NHI, jenama yang ngetren sampai sekarang. Nama Poltekpar NHI Bandung resmi digunakan pada 1 Januari 2022. Di Poltekpar NHI Bandung, kamu bisa belajar beragam skill yang dibutuhkan untuk bekerja di industri pariwisata dan ekonomi kreatif. Dengan visi menjadi institusi pendidikan tinggi kepariwisataan terkemuka di dunia yang tetap berkepribadian Indonesia, sampai sekarang sudah lebih dari 20.000 lulusan Poltekpar NHI Bandung dan sekitar 38%-nya berkarir di luar negeri. Poltekpar NHI Bandung bekerja sama dengan berbagai perguruan tinggi, baik yang di Indonesia maupun di luar negeri, dalam mengembangkan program-program pendidikannya pada tingkat D3, D4, S1, dan Magister Manajemen Pariwisata. Di sini, kamu bisa belajar mengenai hospitality seperti pengelolaan perhotelan, divisi kamar, tata hidang, seni pengolahan patisserie, dan seni kuliner. Kamu juga bisa belajar tentang kepariwisataan seperti pengelolaan usaha rekreasi dan destinasi pariwisata, dan juga soal industri perjalanan wisata dan manajemen event. Makanya, lulusan Poltekpar selalu diakui sebagai SDM-SDM unggul dan terbaik di industri pariwisata. Mau cepat kerja atau berwirausaha? Kuliahnya di Poltekpar aja, sob!